this now? Hello, Mr. Kombe. It's got out. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, 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 welcome. It's another beautiful day. So sunny here in Ontario, Canada. Beautiful day to go to the beach, to take a walk or a bike ride. So many things have been happening in Zambia, ladies and gentlemen. I just wonder, what's going to happen next. Zambia has become like a soap opera, especially with the trending topics, yeah, it is so. Oh, and by the way, it's happy 4th anniversary, UPND. Happy 4th anniversary. Imagine this. We never knew that it could be 4 years ago in August when the Zambian people, 2.8 million people, voted the UPND into power. That was what? August. We're in August. So it's a good month. We need to celebrate. Wherever you are, you can pop some champagne or, a glass of water or a glass of a whiskey or something, But in a nutshell, I think there's a lot to be discussed today. There's a lot. And we need to, look at what the 4 years, where we are, what has happened, where we're going, and what we're going to do, and what are the projection for the next coming 6 years, because next year definitely we're retaining power. But what's going to happen after that? So that is something that we're going to decide and discuss and talk about 100% today. And just waiting for my colleagues to join in. So guys, you can like the page, follow us. Okay. And then we can always discuss these issues. Okay. Daniel. Oops. Where are we? Add to stage. All right. Welcome, gentlemen. Welcome, Mr. Combe. Francis Combe, you there?
I'm here. Good afternoon.
Yeah. Okay. Good afternoon. How's the weather in Florida?
The weather's good. It was really, really hot, but now I think it's about to rain. So, yeah, weather is crazy, but yeah, summer is beautiful.
It's beautiful. Nice. That's good. That's good to hear. Welcome, Danny. Dr. Danny. Are you there? He's muted. I think it must be on the beach or something. Wakazia.
Oh, well, thank you very much, Machandandi. Welcome to the program. Thank you very much.
We know Shani Wakazira. How are you? How's Canada?
Canada is okay. Just too many fires around.
Yeah.
New Brunswick, Newfoundland.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, but
I hope you're safe and you're not anywhere near those fires.
Very, 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 very safe. Fires are like 600 kilometers away.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah.
that is good. That is good. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. The next Kalusha Wali, how is it doing?
He's doing very well. He's winning a tournament. He's really played good.
That's good. He scored. He's the one that scored the 3 goals. I saw something you posted.
Yeah, he scored 2 out of those 3, and he scored in every game. He has he played about 4 games. He scored in about 3 games.
Wow! Oh, nice. Wow. Yeah. So, but Danny, are you there or what? I wanted to ask about Danny. Remember, on a side note, before we go into the program, the topic you raised on the Badabo Baipe Ngombe, those cattle headers, some farmers, that their cattle was slaughtered because it was believed that it had some disease. I forget the name of that disease. So you raised some concerns. But the thing is, I went on the internet and I started checking, and people are trying to politicize it. I'm like, is this going to do with politics? Sure. Or it's just the ministry itself, they're trying to control the disease so that it doesn't spread to other areas. I don't know if you saw that one, Vakombe.
Yeah, I did. Are we going into it now? Or?
No, this is just a sidebar. It's not even part of the topics.
Oh, okay. It's big news. It's very big news.
It's very big news, and we need to discuss that one.
Yeah.
Let's start. Let's start with that. Since Vadani is here now, Vadani, he's the expert in these areas. Vadani, welcome.
Hola, everybody.
¿Cómo estás?
Buenas tardes.
Muy bien. So, Akishani, what's going on the slaughtering of the animals there in Zambia?
That is very, very, very straightforward. There's nothing wrong with what the government has done. The farmers know these rules. This is, by the way, this act of restriction of movements of animals in Zambia it's an act from 2010. That's when this latest law was made into restriction of movement of animals. The reason why we are doing this is because we want to be cleared by the international body to start exporting to the European Union, all over the world. We want farmers to be able to export animals, sell their meat to UK. Okay? We need these measures in place for us to be qualified. Someone is talking in the background. So we need these measures. We are being observed, okay, by the International Infectious Animal Diseases Control Board. Okay? So we are being observed. Do we have these measures in place to ensure that we are disease-free from certain diseases? Okay, and CBPP is one of them. It affects the lungs of animals. Okay, so we are doing these things so that one day Zambia will be like Botswana. Like we'll be able to export. A farmer in Shangombo will be able to say, all right, I have a cow, I want to slaughter. There will be a marketing board that will get this animal exported to UK or Netherlands or anywhere. This is according to what we promised the international body that observe us for this type of period. We are controlling the diseases, and then it will be money for everybody. It's a win-win scenario. But if we go against these rules, we'll be struck off. Okay, we'll be struck off. So we need to do this. We are very, very serious about it, especially the new government. They really want us to be able to enter the international beef market. Without these measures in place, we will not be accredited, and we will remain our market will only remain local. We can't export to the EU or anywhere else all over the world. So, but the thing about these animals that have been slaughtered, they have followed the procedures. Okay, when an animal has been moved from one zone to there are zones, by the way, in Zambia, animal zones. So if you are moving from zone A to zone B, you have to get permission, because in zone A, there are certain animal diseases. In zone B, there are certain, for example, Eastern Province, there's African swine fever, there's this and all that. You have to know, you can't move an animal from Saga to Chipata, because you're going to be transporting diseases that are not found in Chipata, but found in Musaga, and vice versa. So these animals have to be certified disease-free before you move them from one zone to another. Now, this farmer, there's an outbreak of CBPP in his area now, in Kalomo. So the thing is, the veterinary people are there to vaccinate the animals, to treat those that are sick, and contain the disease within that zone. The thing is that you don't wake up in the middle of the night just because these animals are restricted in your area. You have to buy vaccines. You have to do vaccines, by the way, are very subsidized by the government. They are very, very cheap. I think they are about one watch up the animal or something. So they are very, very cheap. So this man decides to wake up in the middle of the night because the government has announced that you guys here, one, you cannot sell your animals first until this disease is eradicated in your zone. So for him, he wakes up in the middle of the night with 70 animals, starts trekking to go into another zone where he's going to be free because there's no outbreak of CPP in that area. So then they catch him.
So let me get this straight, Danny. So you're saying from where his area was, where he was, where that breakout disease,
yes,
he was running away from that area.
Exactly.
But why didn't he just let the animal control treat the animals and stuff like that? Like, because why run away?
When there's a quarantine, you are restricted. For example, you not slaughter your animals and sell to the whatever marketing, whatever. So there's a restriction for you until the disease is under control. Then they'll give you a green light. You farmers are free now to do whatever you want to do with animals. But him wouldn't wait. He can't wait for that disease to be. So him, instead of waiting until the vet department clears that area, he decides to move his animals to an area which is free to sell animals and do everything. What he doesn't understand is that he's moving the disease from this zone where they've restricted him to another zone which is free of that disease. He's transporting the disease to a clean area. And that's why they're very strict about him. They said, okay, your animals are not sick, fine, but they're coming from a disease outbreak area, so let's observe them. So they caught him on the 30th of July. They give you 14 days observing the animals. So the 14 days elapsed, 2 weeks elapsed, 2 days, 3 days ago. And in that head of his animals, 17 animals showed positivity to that disease, which means these animals are carrying the disease.
Okay.
So they showed signs of this disease they're trying to control where it's coming from. So the thing is that if a head is positive in one and you're moving them illegal, and you know that man knew exactly what he was doing.
Mm.
That's why I was moving at night. And so that's the thing. So that's why the law comes into place. And look, you know the rules. Your animals, we have quarantined them. They have shown signs of CBPP. We are putting them down. That's the law. That's it. And the farmers know these rules. And this man has moved animals before. For example, if you want to slaughter an animal from Southern Province to Lusaka, you want to bring it to Lusaka for slaughter and get money, which is good. You just have to get permission. They check your animal, it's disease-free. You can move from Kalomo and bring your animal for slaughter in Lusaka. That's fine. But you have to tell the vet department because you are moving across the zones and your animal should be disease-free. But right now, that man was running away, was trying to spread the disease. That's deliberate because he knew what he was doing. That's all I know. Yeah.
Okay. So, Kazia, you were very passionate about this, and you complained. So I don't know what your take or what you feel about this. This is a chance now to tell us how you're feeling, and maybe something else could have been done differently. Who knows?
Yeah. If you saw my posting, I was saying I will rely on Vadani's expert knowledge and guidance on this matter because I think Vadani is an authority when it comes to vet matters. He's an authority that we can't take away from him. The only thing I was saying that is there maybe laws where we could have maybe quarantine those that were good and slaughter those that were already showing signs, or it was just a question of getting rid of everything. If it is a question that some animals had the disease and they needed to clear that out, I definitely have no problem with that. I was thinking that maybe some animals did not have, and then they just rushed into actually saw the court order and immediately went to slaughter without doing everything Wadani has just said. But I think Wadani is an authority in those areas, and I think his guidance is sufficient for me.
Wakombe.
Mkwan. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me. Good afternoon once more, and good evening for those that are in Zambia. I think what the government did was the right thing, swift and very precise. This goes without saying, like what Daniel said, and Rakasi has also agreed. There are SOPs, standard operating procedures, when you're trying to move livestock. And the reasons have been aired out. You have to be cleared and then you move your stock. So what they did was the right thing. It happens even in humans, the medical field. If you go to the hospital today, for those that want to play politics, if you go to the hospital today, there are certain rooms, they will tell you you cannot go in without gowning. And there's certain rooms where they tell you no visitors. Not because they hate the person, but it's because they don't want a disease to be transmitted. So those are standard operating procedures. I believe the farmer knew. The fact that he's moving at night shows you he wanted to be slick. And there's no way the government would take chances. Those 70 cows are nothing compared to an outbreak in the province or in the country, because this can really collapse the economy in terms of the exports that we do and even the livestock that can be lost. So I think it was the right thing. I commend the government for doing that. It happens even here at workplaces when people are exposed to certain chemicals. Everybody's treated. You go in a treating room, they treat you. It doesn't matter whether you're positive or not. They'll treat you. So kudos to the government, and that's a very swift action that they did. For those that want to be emotional about it, I would urge them to read more about these transfers and look at the bigger picture. It's 70 animals that are dying, right? That have been killed, that have been taken down, neutralized. Yeah. But it could have been maybe 5 or 10 or 15 or 20, 50,000 livestock. affected if there's a disease. So it only makes sense. And I would encourage age-old farmers that would love to do that in the future to be, just be considerate and follow the rules.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Okay. So my take on this one as well is, we need to follow certain procedures. And by the way, this is not the first time something like this has ever happened. I remember some years back, it happened before. Some animals were the same thing. They were trying to, transport those animals to a different town, and they were stopped, and they slaughtered those animals. I remember some years back. So this is not the first time. And with all these politicians in the opposition, I don't know why everything they have to politicize everything. One of these leaders, from these small Nashala Neka parties, he was saying, "Oh no, you see what this government is doing? Hey, look," but I'm like, this would have happened even if it wasn't the UPND government, because they follow the same protocol, same procedures. There's no way you can just say, "Oh, it's because of the UPND government, that's why this is happening." If I was the president. But the president is not going to get into each and every little decision making in the country. You see what I'm saying? That's why there are the organizations, there are ministries, there are people responsible for those things. And those people, as long as they follow the procedures laid down, then if they're right, they're right. I mean, there's no way they can just slaughter 70 animals without cause or without a reason. I mean, like you're saying, like an outbreak, a countrywide outbreak is worse, than 70 animals. So 70 animals for one person, yes, it's a huge loss, but it's a loss, and I think it's a lesson to most of these, farmers or animal breeders, because I think they even know these laws. They even know them. They even know what happens. I mean, it's not the first time. It's not like these have just. It has just happened now, or the procedures that have been laid down on one particular man. So, yeah, the government is right. I mean, we have to follow the procedures. I mean, hey, that's what it is.
Maybe the only thing that I would maybe urge is, I think farmer education into the extent that the moment that we create these information centers or village committee meetings, even at community level or constituency level, where this becomes the talk. Like, every time when we have an outbreak, every time when there's quarantine, leaflets, Zambia Information Service is on to say don't move animals maybe twice a week or once a month, to just make sure that the people even understand. One of the things you have to understand in our Zambian scenario, everything is politicized. There's nothing that we don't politicize in Zambia. So at times, even to try to start to respond when people have politicized it, is giving legitimacy and leverage to people that are raising those issues up, because they will definitely politicize them for political mileage and stuff like that. So for me, I would really want government to step up its information system to the farmers, especially in Southern Province. Southern Province is known that the animals is everything. Everyone must have an animal. So at times, for people to come and appreciate what government has done when they don't have sufficient information, or they have just partial information, probably they didn't understand the extent of this, that if they go out, they take the animals, the entire herd will be slaughtered. If they find maybe 2, 3, the entire thing will be gone. They didn't understand. They might have thought, oh, maybe if they find 2, they will get them, and then the rest will be okay. So I think on the part of information system that we are giving the farmers, we must now strengthen, especially when it comes to disease and animal control, because that person they slaughter the animals for, you and me who are here educated and understand these things, we're at a different level. But I'm telling you, at community level, this is where the politics start to play, and this is where people are going to jump on it and say things and do things. It's too early maybe for me to maybe no, unless I get some more information, I'll read around it and see what actions that government did before they actually came to slaughter these animals, and then we can be able to look at this. But on the face value of it and on the guidance part of it, I definitely go with whatever Danny has said, and I will not argue anything more than that.
Fantastic.
And
Yeah,
Machanda, just 1 minute just on this one also. And I would also urge the government to just bring out pundits who are going to talk about this. Don't wait for it to grow. Don't wait for a week for people to understand why it happened. Quickly dispatch people on radio, on TV who will talk about this to educate people. And this also goes to my fellow citizens. You have to be informed, or else all these people who politicize everything, they have a market. You don't know. So that's why they say these things. So, but I would urge the government to quickly send out people, Ministry of Agriculture, the PSAs, and even just regular pundits to go on radios and talk about this issue, this topic, so people know quickly.
fantastic. I think with all being said, that's it boils down to one thing. I think the government was right on that, and but Danny has clearly outlined it and said it. Him being in that field, he obviously knows these issues better than most of us here. And so just to lay it and for people to understand why that happened, the government needs to maybe put up programs in local languages, and so that it reaches the the lowest level in terms of the people in the villages, so that they know these things. Put it in their language that they can understand. Don't put it in English, because if English are just talking to people in town, but if they put it in the local languages, explain to them these are the issues, and make sure everybody understands it, and they should know what the consequences are if you had to do something like this. Because if people don't know what the consequences are, they'll try to take a risk, and then they start crying, and then it looks bad, But people need to understand these issues. Go ahead, Radan.
In terms of information to the villagers,
Yeah.
The Department of Veterinary Services is one of the most well-staffed department, in the sense that every 2 or 3 villages, there's what is called the veterinary camp, or what do they call, camp assistant or something like that. There are people at local level in every 2, 3, 4 villages that work for the Department of Veterinary Services. So these are local people. They live in villages, and they educate people about these animal rules and regulations. So yeah, it's very, very well funded. There are thousands and thousands of these called camp veterinary assistants. They call them camps. And camps, basically, one camp will have maybe 3, 4 villages, another camp 3, 4, 5 villages, and there's one person employed to disseminate veterinary information to those villages. So it's well staffed, actually, in that sense.
Okay, that's explained by our very own expert, Dr. Danny. So, guys, the elephant in the room, the ECA or Lungu family, Esther Lungu versus the government. That issue is still dragging. It's what, 3 months now? 3 months. And people are asking questions. Why is all of this happening? Is it just for the hate of one man? Or there's something that you and I don't understand that is behind the scenes? There's something sinister about the whole arrangement. Is it about HH? Is it about the Lungu family? Is it about ECL? What is it all about, really? I mean, if we were to dig in, and for any average Zambian, I think they're posing these questions. They want to find out, because it's out of this world. It's something that has never happened before, where people are refusing for their, a former president to be buried in his home country and be given, the military honors and everything as a statesman, as a former head of state. They are refusing because they don't want one HH to come near the body. That's their main concern. Now we saw what happened on Friday. They said when they were about to pass the judgment, first of all, they brought in a new lawyer. They're saying he's one of the best top-notch lawyers in South Africa. He's like, he's revered in South Africa to say he always wins cases. So there, it was a sign to us like, why have they changed lawyers? Okay? And then, before the judges could come to a final decision, he's like, no, if you can just hold on to that decision until Monday, because we've decided to talk with the government. Okay? And then boom, all of a sudden, my papers are in the constitutional court. Gentlemen, I don't know here. Was the government tricked, duped? Was this like, did they know that this is what we're going to do? Or they were pretending that we're talking when they had some other, ulterior motives? Vakombe.
This is a very unfortunate thing. I want to believe the family is still talking with the government. I think the government was not duped. There are procedures. So if they appeal or they raise a motion to kick the can down the road, it is what it is. I think in the end, the government will win. The Zambian government will win. What is strange and what bothers me is the continuous holding on to the board of ECL, even by the family itself. I mean, it's something I cannot understand. How do these people come back to Zambia and claim Zambia to be their land and claim that ECL ruled Zambia if they cannot even respect the PF supporters who were with him even when he left office? At least do it for the supporters then. If you think UPND should never get involved, do it for the supporters then. But this man, like we've always been saying the past weeks that he has been deceased, was president for all, even those that never agreed with him. He was president of the Republic of Zambia, the entire 21 and some change million people. So the family looks bad. It just looks bad. This is my opinion. They look bad. They should just let go. For how long are you going to play politics with it? It's unbelievable. But I guess that's what they're choosing, and they will lose. And the Zambian people have the last word. I think they'll interpret this in whatever way they want to, be it PF or otherwise.
Okay. And we go to Vadani. Vadani, you've got a lot of information on this one. You've got a lot of opinions and a lot of.
I have soldiers on the ground. Anyway, to me, it's yet another move which really makes the Lungu family disregard the South African government. They're trying to use the South African institution like the High Court, like a pawn, like just, okay, we can tell them this today, tomorrow we'll tell them this, we'll change our mind, we'll do this. I mean, I think the judges are getting fed up of this type of thing. You don't say, okay, we want this to be heard, and then you arrive, no, give us time, we want to talk, and all that. It's just like that time, so we want to repatriate the body, they organize all this military honor thing, and no, we are not going. They're taking the government of South Africa for granted. In my view, the Lungu family is taking the government of South Africa for granted. They're just playing like, okay, we can say this today, tomorrow we change, tomorrow we do this, tomorrow we change, and I think this is working to their disadvantage. So I think that the judges definitely, when they go to their dinner tables with their families on the dinner, they're saying, come on, these guys are taking us for granted now. What's going on? I think they can just be kicking us like a ball. Today they say this, tomorrow they say this. Anyway, so the hearing on Monday, the appeal hearing on Monday, there will be three things there basically that will be that we are looking for. Maybe they will reverse their earlier ruling, which is, I don't think they will do that because they will look stupid. They can't say, oh, sorry, Lungu family, what we said last time, sorry, we have reversed the decision. They might make a few modifications to what they said. Maybe they would say, okay, we didn't regard, because the Lungu family are saying they didn't look at the wrongs that the government did for modifying the schedule that we had agreed upon. So they might make that small modification to the agreement, or they might just say, you know what, we'll stick with what we said last time. So we'll just the area ruling stays. So at that time, the Lungu family will be have no choice. But I don't know, maybe they will appeal to the higher courts or something like that. But I think this high court that's gonna hear their case on Monday most likely is gonna stick to what they say, because you cannot make a judgment within a week or two and then you say, no, okay, what we said was wrong, so we are reversing our end. I don't think they will do that. Now, what will happen with the Lungu family once the High Court has said we'll stick with what we said? I think they'll start playing the same games, but in the end, to me, what I foresee is the South African government is just going to say, you know what, we have tolerated this family too much. It's time for them to take the body back to Zambia or do whatever they want to do with the body, because it's just too much. They can't be playing. These are resources, South African resources they are using. Okay? They are using South African resources for these judges who sit for hours and hours there. And they don't take this into consideration. They are not taxpayers for the South African people are paying for these sessions. So I don't know. It's just too much. To me, it's just too much. And as Wakombe said, what's the biggest thing that they are really, really sticking to, where they say, first of all, there's been no family on this planet Earth that has given the conditions of the Lungu family to say only 4 or 5 of family members will see the body. Nobody else will see the body. Come on, really? It has never been heard of in this planet other than Lungu family. No, only family members, and those family members will be handpicked. That's it. Nobody else will see the body. That is weird. It's very, very weird.
It's straight at the same time.
Yeah. And then you said, we are not going to bury him in Zambia. We want to bury him here in South Africa. Lungu just went there for treatment, for God's sake. He wasn't living in South Africa. If he was living in South Africa before, it's different. Someone was asking the question the other time, if he had died in Malaysia or India, were you going to be insisting that let's bury him in New Delhi or in Islamabad, whatever? Why are they going to be insisting that let's bury him in Timbuktu? You know? Why are they insisting now that we have to bury him in South Africa? What's so special? He just went for treatment. When you go for treatment, doesn't mean that you become citizen to that country. That's that you deserve it. They feel entitled that they should be buried in South Africa. They don't look at it. South Africans are angry. They don't want Lungu to be buried in South Africa. They don't. They're saying it's going to be.
They don't even want any foreigner in South Africa.
They don't want even any foreigner. Now you are saying let's bury this, and they are saying this is going to be a gateway, a loophole for Zambians to be coming every anniversary to come in large numbers to come and invade our country to see the Lungu's grave. So it's they don't get it, and they're taking the South African government for granted. To me, they should be stopped. Thank you.
Wakazia.
Yeah, of course, I share a different view. Everything you've said, I don't agree. Both of you are done in Abakombe.
Of course.
Of course.
We know.
Know. Yeah, I also know that. You see, you cannot mistreat a person to that point. And then when he dies, then you say we want to give honors to the dead, not when he's alive. That kind of crap for me doesn't stick. Then secondly, The issue of saying they are wasting South African resources, this government that is doing that, our government is wasting South African resources. If they just stuck with what was agreed first without changing the program at the time that the body should have come to Zambia, that thing wouldn't have even arisen. The next thing is that the same change of goalposts. This time it's a family that has changed the goalpost. You change the goalpost the day before the burial. You don't have the government doesn't have the monopoly of changing their mind. And this thing of saying, oh, the family is looking bad. No, it's not looking bad. If it was my father, I would behave the same way. When you mistreat somebody, what do you expect? This time, you colleagues have challenged you here. There has been no one telling those guys that are calling ECO's body, frozen fish, akatumbi, and everything. See, those are UPND supporters. The lawyers told you these guys are compounding the negotiations between the family and government. But who is talking to them? Nothing. Even this morning, there was someone calling akatumbi, people celebrating. How? How do you say, oh, we want to bury him with honors and dignity as president? Everybody knows. If he was president, why is he not being treated as a president in death? He's still verified to the same extent like he was nothing. And now you want to, no. Let ECL be. And the court actually were done. You should know that the court overturn decisions. That's why when you appeal to the higher court, they can overturn what the lower court has said. They don't necessarily have to agree with what the lower court said. It depends on the heads of argument. So for me, the family is on firm ground. To blame the family when they are the victims of a brutal government system in terms of looking at the death is not right. So that family should stick its guts. If it means appealing to Supreme Court, let them appeal. If they lose, they lose. If they want to get the body, then at that point in time, let the body be taken because then they've done what they need to do. If government was serious about it, they would have actually removed themselves from that and say, okay, we will provide the resources. And in fact, in the law, the government pays the expenses. There's nowhere where it says, oh, it has to be a state funeral and the president must be there. The last week, I challenged you colleagues to say there is no law that says a state funeral, the president must be there. The vice president can be there. Anyone else. President HH and President ECO were not friends. They were not friends. They were bitter rivals. It didn't happen in the lifetime. It certainly will not happen in death. So this kind of thing, for me, I've always told you colleagues, it is a lesson to us that we must not allow ourselves and the enmity to continue. When people differ on political lines, when someone wins, they must quickly go to resolution of knowing that they should norm and friendship and national interest should take root. We have personalized this way too much. This thing has been personalized. It is about President HH being there. But the family does not want him there. It does not want him there. And rightly so, if they don't want him there, there's no need for President HH to be there. He has done his part. He has tried everything there is in the book to be there, and the family still doesn't want him. So let him stay away out of it. Let them do what they want to do with the body. If they want a private burial, let it be so. And the mere fact that the government and the UPND government has failed to come clean on dealing with the cadres that keep insulting that dead man.
Let me come in, Machanda. You said a lot of things here.
Go ahead, Wakombe. I know you're itching.
The most unfortunate thing is we see even people like Wakazir still playing politics with it.
This is what I don't like.
No. Let me just make my point. It's my opinion. So I'm holding the floor. It's my opinion. Let me make the point.
But don't attack me. I'll be able to respond and attack you as well. Through
the chair.
Okay, let's talk one at a time. Let's talk one person at a time.
Correct.
One person at a time.
Thank you very much. I thought I was holding the floor, and it's my opinion. If you want to rebut, you can come in and air your opinion. You just aired a lot of forceful things here, and it's very unfortunate. It's for this reason that we still even have conversations like that, because we have people who think like that. First and foremost, the president was not responsible for anything and everything, for everything that a person who subscribes to the UPND says. It's just common sense. You cannot say the government is tolerating this, somebody airs a view to say they do something and they say akatumbi, of which we don't even agree to as supporters of UPND. But you hold that against the administration. It's a shame. That's one. Two, ECL was not mistreated. You must be coming from a different planet to say that. And it's sad. ECL arrested HH 15 times. HH was not allowed to move in his own country. We saw this in Chipata during the last week of the election. We saw this when he wasn't allowed even to go to the Copper Belt. ECL's argument was, we can't be in the same place at the same time. And yet they live together in Lusaka. So all that was done by ECL to HH. HH comes into power. He has never arrested ECL. ECL has been moving up and down, going to churches, jogging, doing this. Uliowa Chunsu, trying to come in the frame. ECL was, HH was quiet. So when you bring the notion and the assumption that ECL was mistreated, you can lie to people who are not Zambians. We are Zambians. We saw how ECL was never, not even a time, arrested or caught to go and talk about cases that they think he had committed. Nothing of that sort. The man was bitter before elections, was bitter when he lost. He's still bitter as he dies. Look, there's still confusion. And it's people like you who want to be saying these things. You appeal to the lowest form of supporters that really believe what you say. So you have to be very careful the things you utter. The president, the former president, was never brutalized. Never. We should look at these things from an independent view. So we should be truthful. When it comes to a state funeral, you want to be given a state funeral, but you, as the family, draw the program for the funeral. You can't have it both ways. You can't. It's not about you. We had this case when ECL was president, and former President Kaunda died.
Exactly.
Former ECL was on record. He went to the funeral. A video has just surfaced. He went to the funeral house, encouraging the family to let the government do its job and give him a good send-off, a state funeral. ECL, his minister, Given Luwinda, who's acting president of PF, was on record. Your propaganda guru, Emmanuel Mwamba, tweeted. He said the death of the president has to be handled by the state and not the party. Today, you are the so-called learned people, and you're still spewing this. For people who are not informed, they'll believe it. So you are also part of the problem because you are pouring all these sentiments that are wrong. Don't do that.
I think I need to respond to that.
Yeah, you're going to respond. I think you should put the country first. Don't put party first. There's nothing here. I rest my case.
Okay.
Now, let me answer what before I myself. You see, it is people like you, Bakombe, who are very, very inimical to the country. If you want to people start thinking the way you are thinking, it is a disaster of kind of a thought process. Like you were not even there. I don't know the time that you left Zambia. For you to even start thinking and starting questioning what I'm thinking and starting to go after me. This is my opinion. You gave your opinion. Now you want to pretend like, oh, you know it all.
But you are attacking my opinion.
I'm attacking my opinion. Listen, you attack mine. I attack yours.
One person at a time.
Wakombe, keep quiet. I kept quiet when you were putting all these lies together. You know that ECO, you know that ECO was taken out of the plane. You know about that. You know that people that are the supporters of your party, they are there. They go to the secretariat and they are there insulting.
Which plane was this ECO taken out of?
What?
Which plane? Which plane?
And then let me also put this to order.
No. You said this ECO was taken out of the plane.
I was
which plane?
You in the midst of your submission. Mind you,
can you ask?
I know what he's talking about. Don't worry about that one. I know. You remember the time when he was saying
Hello,
he presented.
Vatanda.
Okay,
I
go ahead.
Be questioned in the midst of the submission. He was talking. I didn't question his submission. I let him
Okay,
finish.
go ahead.
And
go
he
ahead.
must also let me finish. Then number two, Ukulan that this year arrested HH 15 times. It is wrong. Did I ever say that it was right to do that? And mind the way, the difference between ECO and the President HH at the time, HH was an opposition leader, not a former president. He was not. How many times he's arrested Dr. Fredman? He has arrested Bakalaba. He has arrested all the opposition leaders right now. They are in court. He's doing that. You understand? So, and for me, it is a question of when ECL was president, after he left office, how do you think that is the way we should be treating former presidents? If you think that is the way, I do not think that way. We can do much better. And the enmity was there. There was no time that they were friends. And that is why ngata muli my friends umuntu kuti akukleshe echiriro choba tishire kufa wikesa kuchiriro chani. And you cannot impose yourself no matter how much power you think you have. You do not have that leverage. Diaspora, you are lost to the realities of what is going on.
Are you in Zambia yourself?
Okay.
Are you in Zambia yourself?
You are causing confusion.
Are you in Zambia yourself?
Okay.
You are attacking people in the diaspora.
Okay. Ceasefire.
So
Yes,
if you
ma'am.
want us to talk about the issue,
what we're going to do, Vakazia,
but if you want us, if you want
Vakazia, hold on. No, I know you're going to finish, but hold on. Just hold on, Vakazia. Just hold on. Let's take a breather. So finish your point, okay? And then we have to hear from Madani because Madani hasn't commented on this matter. And we don't want it to be between you and Ibakombe.
No, it's a discussion. It's never between two people. We're having a discussion so anybody can come in.
So because everybody's going back, if you guys are going back and forth, then we're not going to move forward. So close up, finish, give us your reasons and your points.
I'll end with this. You see, Chanda. It is just so much of, I don't know what kind of thinking we are putting in the people that are listening to us. When your friend is talking, it doesn't matter, no matter what they say, which you don't like, you keep quiet. You don't jump in to start questioning and wanting to pretend.
Okay, no. Just close your point. Just close your point.
I'm keeping quiet. Now, I can behave to the same extent. It's not fair. But Dan has not intervened, even when Baba said what he doesn't like.
I think he's done. Makazira is done. He's still going all over the map. So let Madani come in. You finished. You cannot conclude. You're failing to conclude.
Be rational. Because you keep interjecting.
Conclude, Kaidi.
How do I
conclude?
So, my opinion.
Go ahead. Are you done?
No, let me just conclude in the last 1 minute or so. My opinion about this funeral ECL vis-a-vis government, it has been mishandled by government. I put this blame personally on government because they can do much better. When I saw Vakavesha talk on the TV and say we can go ahead and bury without them even if they don't come, those are unfortunate statements that are coming from government. Those are very, very unfortunate. They are not conciliated to make sure that this body comes back to Zambia to bury. It is so much acrimonious. We need to, first of all, watch what comes out of our mouth. If we do watch what is coming out of our mouth, then this matter is going to be concluded properly because the other family is grieving. The other people are not grieving. They are not family. They are just nationals who have stakeholder interest in there. But the family is hit more than we are hit, all of us as a people. But the family deserves to be listened to and what they want to do. That is what my submission looks like.
Thank you very much. So, but Dr. Danny, I think you've been listening.
Okay.
Everybody's
I've been listening here. I agree with my brother Kombe and I disagree with my brother Kazia in the sense that the opposition supporters, they are exaggerating the so-called abuse of Lungu. Lungu was. Do you know what Kaunda went through? Do you know what Ichiruba went through? That is really. That is when you say a former president was abused. Lungu has never been abused, never ever, and I don't know where they're getting it. And when you say, "Oh, at Barito Enganda," that was the gate which they were looking for the wife, and the wife was inside, and then they destroyed the gate at Barito Enganda. That's what they're saying. They broke the house. They just went in to look for that Kamateota Corolla Karimkat. So it's that was not whatever. That was abuse. You break a gate compared to being arrested 15 times in Nkobeko. And then when you say, "Oh, that's real abuse," no, he was just opposition leader. So if he was an opposition leader, he deserves being abused. Oh, because him is a former president, so he no. Let's not. We are Zambians. We shouldn't abuse one another, whether we are in position leaders or we are former presidents. We shouldn't say, "Oh, don't compare Lungu to HH. He was opposition leader. That's why he was arrested 15 times." That's what the justification Chanda just said. He said when we mentioned 15 times, he said no, he was just an opposition leader. He wasn't a former president. So it's justifying the arrest of HH 15 times by the party because he said he was just an opposition leader. He was just like Membe. He was just like whatever. So that's not, to me, that's not good talk. Where you say, "Oh, he was just an opposition leader." Lungu was different. Lungu was a former president. HH was just an opposition leader. Let's not do that. So to be honest, here the Lungu family still are wrong in the sense that they are holding the whole country at ransom. Their arguments don't hold water. To be to me, if we allow them to cremate or bury the body in South Africa, will they really come back? The Lungu family come back to Zambia and stay there in Gabulonga or whatever, and just start mingling with people? Say yes, we are former first family, and how would they be looked at by Zambians? Because to me, as a Zambian, this is a rejection by the former first family to say we don't belong to Zambia. We would rather stay in South Africa. To me, that's the way it sounds. I don't expect them to come back and start mingling with me in Cairo Road again when they denied me the opportunity to say goodbye to my former president. It's very, very sad. It's very, very sad. I don't really know what they want as a family, to be honest. They're always like, "Oh, HH. To HH, we will not be there. HH is not that type of guy who is gonna say, "Oh, he might not even you might be in Bangladesh by the time if they don't want him there, he will not be there." I don't know where they're getting this notion that HH is gonna force himself on that day to look at Lungu. No, he's not gonna do that. And the judge told them. They said, Why should we debate things which haven't even happened? Let's debate things that have happened. Because they say, no, HH is doing, it's not about HH. HH will not force himself to be present there. And we can't hold the country at ransom just because you're afraid of something that hasn't even happened. HH will not be there. If the family says HH should not be there, HH will not be there. That's it. It's simple. I don't know what's going on here with the family. To me, they have something bigger to hide than the eye can meet. In my view, what I'm hearing in my reliable sources, is something bigger. Yeah, that's what I can say. There's something they're hiding other than just this thing.
Please tell us. Can you review it so that people know?
Through the chair. Through the chair.
Time will tell. Time will tell.
Just a quick comment in 15 seconds. This is just my earnest appeal to you as the moderator, Vachanda. I think as we give our points, you have the right to challenge us. When we throw things out there, if somebody, for instance, says Lungu was abused and you can simply say, okay, so give an example when he was abused. We shouldn't we should not be given all this time as people are contributing just to spew lies and wait for the other guy to catch it. So, you can
don't worry. Don't worry about that. I've written everything here. So what I do is because I want everybody to chip, because the way this moves, if I when somebody says something, I come in, he says it, then it's going to be a tit and tat.
No.
So
I said not always, but some things when you're interviewing,
I get
you
your
can
point, and
actually
I've
ask.
put down everything. And me haven't even spoken. So I'm going to bring those issues up.
I need to clarify one thing from what Daniel said. Maybe just to be sure that he might have misquoted me.
On which one? On which point?
On the part that he said that are you saying that because he was opposition leader, therefore he must be mistreated?
Well, yeah, that's what you said. But that's what you said.
No, I want to clarify it so that in case you misquoted me. What I said was, first of all, if you start where I started, I said it was wrong to be mistreated. That's the first point that I said. I said it was wrong.
And then you put it back.
Number one.
And then you put it
number
back.
Two. Do you want me to finish or not?
Go ahead. Finish. Okay. But you put it back.
So yes, I put but. What I didn't even put but. I said, however, the other difference, the other second point was that there was a difference between President HH then and the President ECAO now. And I went ahead to explain the difference. The difference is, at the time that President HH was in opposition, he was not a former president. When President Edgar Lungu has left power, he's a former president. And that is why there is now a fight, even the fight for the body. It's because of now that aspect of him being former president. If President Edgar Lungu was not a former president, it wouldn't have arisen like this. But then it has a reason like this because he was former president. And my appeal actually is and is still that government, if they don't want government to take over the funeral, let it be so. Government has tried. There's no need to force it any further. That's my point.
Machanda, so
No,
as you can see,
I
just wanted to comment on what he just said.
Let's
do this, Makombe.
Let him ask Machanda because at times he may lose his thought through.
Exactly.
Let him ask.
Just 2 minutes. So the man has just circled. He just did a 360 and ended up exactly where he was. He said the men are not supposed to be treated the same because this one was the main opposition guy, but this one was the former president. That's the difference. That's what he's saying. That's what I'm interpreting.
Okay, no, your interpretation
what
is
I'm
wrong.
getting from what you're saying.
Okay, your interpretation is wrong. Here is my interpretation. My interpretation is that nobody must ever be mistreated, whether it is president, former, and everybody. That is my interpretation. The difference that I'm trying to make is just about the office, and that is a fact. Unless you want to argue that he wasn't a former president, he's not.
What about the office? They should be treated the same.
Okay. All right. Okay. So see, this is what I was avoiding. So now,
you are treated.
All right, Rakazia. I think you've mentioned a certain points that I disagree. One, you put in Bakabesha. You said that he said he was going to bury, or you put it saying that the government is going to bury Walungu without the family, whether they like it or not. Now, that's very untrue, because if you watch the last interview that he had, even in the court there, they were asking those questions. And you're saying, like, look, us, we're civilized people. That's not what we're going to do. We are emphasizing, and still we want to talk with the family. Even at the Sunday interviews at NBC, he said the same thing. Grevasio Zulu asked him the same question, and he told the public, answered Grevasio Zulu and everybody and all Zambians to say, no, we are not like that. Okay? We are not like that. We are going to work. Well, I think you had your chance. It's time for me to talk.
No, just a question.
No. Wait, let me finish.
Okay.
You make me lose my train of thought. So,
sorry.
Grevasio Zulu asked him the same question you're talking about, the same question you're saying about Bakaweshas, claiming to say, oh, well, even whether the family agrees or not, we're going to bury it. Gervasio Zulu asked him on Sunday, just go and watch that interview. He said himself to say, no, that's not the way we are. In fact, we are still working with the family. Us as government were open to work with the government, to work with the family, and make sure everybody is happy. So it's not a forcing matter, in simple terms. So one, that was wrong. You're misleading the public, and then when it comes to second point,
we should draw that, by the way. If that is how it is interpreted, we should draw it.
No, but you said Vakabesha. That's what Vakabesha said. Is that what Vakabesha said?
I wish to draw that.
Yeah, withdrawing it. Fantastic. Okay, I strike it. You've withdrawn that one. I strike it. Okay. Second point. You're talking about the big issue. I think here we're talking about is who was mistreated between HH and ECL. Okay. Overall, if we just look at just the way things have happened between those two, yes, just like the UPND, the way we explain things and tell everybody, there are different policies and different ideas, different ideologies between the UPND and the Patriotic Front. But that doesn't mean it's a personal matter. Okay? So now, Iria Ashiri Akwebati, Lungu and all the PF followers saying that, oh, he was mistreated, he was shani, he was whatever. The time, you can imagine this. Somebody is in retirement, but is busy talking politics. He was about to travel, going somewhere. He was claiming, I'm going for a medical, but when they asked him, he said, oh no, I'm going for a convention. When there wasn't even any convention happening somewhere, he wanted to go somewhere in Asia. So those are the issues. People were like, however, kuma medicals, but and then once I'm watching, and I'm just going for there's a summit, and then there wasn't even a summit happening. Okay, so the things he was doing were a little bit dubious, a little bit questionable, and he was involved himself in politics. Everywhere where he goes, he's jogging, he's busy talking politics. He goes to a church, he's busy talking politics.
And it is illegal to do that.
No, but he have retired from politics.
So when
that
he retired,
that time he was in retirement.
Yeah, so he was in retirement. To talk about politics when you're in retirement.
So, no, let's go into the legal things, but let's talk about what he was doing.
Okay.
So those all issues, and then when instead of if he was really at that point, if really he was sick and he wanted the government, in fact, he wrote. Because somebody like Lungu cannot just travel, just wabula passport, like you and me, you just wherever you want to go. It's state property because he's a former head of state. So before he traveled,
which law speaks to that is state property?
So former head of state in Shimuntufe like you and me. Former head of state.
It's not state property.
No, but he's a okay, Monet. Anyway, let me
still part of government, because you know that.
So you're asking this question. If in Twifiba but you're just going against or questioning this issue.
That's why we feel about
pretend. So the thing is this. Okay, so the bottom line is this: quality procedures. Even if Arabi, any former head of state, before they travel, they have to write to cabinet to say, I'm traveling, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going for medicals or then they will provide whether, because they got those logistics that have to be done by cabinet. You're not going as a personal trip. You're going as a former head of state, and the government. No, let me finish. Now, Mulanda, Effort and perform you're doing the same thing. Okay? So you're interjecting me so that I lose my train of thought. But that's not going to work. So he has to write. And when he writes, then they approve and say, okay, here's the air ticket. Boom, 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 boom. Everything paid by the government. You go. Now, the main point, the questioning is, HH, when he was in the opposition, wasn't he a Zambian citizen? So since he was in the opposition, it's okay to be abused. Only if he was a former head of state, then he shouldn't be abused.
Who said that?
That's your tone, Bakazia.
I never said
that. He was, no, everything is here. We'll play everything back. Because HH was a former head of state, then you can't compare na Balungu. HH was in the opposition, and you cannot compare Nava Lungu, who was a former head of state.
That's what he said.
But abuse is abuse. But in fact, if we go toe to toe, one-on-one, and ask who was abused between the two, everybody will agree to say HH was the most abused person. As a Zambian
each other.
As a Zambian citizen, forget about it, former head of state or a current head of state or whatever. As a Zambian citizen, HH was the worst abused. Okay? Balungu, just a few things. Politics. You are in retirement. Why are you talking about politics? You are in retirement. Why are you talking about Turium guys who are chunsu?
Is it illegal?
You're poking the bear. You're poking the bear, and then you inkala munga yasa yakuli yatawe mone inkalamu, but you wule angala ne inkalamu. So those points, we don't agree with those things.
You have also misinterpreted a lot of things that you have said here.
It's clear. You said it. You said
now,
it.
Let's tell you something about the presidential. When the president, someone is off, when the former president needs to travel and all that. I worked in that government for 28 years, and yet, How does
that pretend
because you see I have no reason. Why should I pretend to you? I will just tell you what it is. That is how I am. Pretend. I have no level of pretense in me. Pretend. So if you want to know, like what I have done about the vet issues about it, he's expert to tell you. I was 28 years and worked at PS. Are
you an expert in government issues?
How it should be done? Okay, I adopt that what you've said is what should be done. But then the questions that I was asking, are these things illegal? If things are not illegal, no. Wanting to travel as a citizen when you're a former president, you ask for authority. And yet they deny the authority to travel because they think you're playing politics. There is no law in Zambia that says when you're a former president, you should never speak politics. There is no law that says so. There is nothing that says he shouldn't go to church, he shouldn't joke. He can speak politics. Baba ECA was not the first former president. And this is a democratic scenario that you, the UPND, said you protect. Hello, Mwale is some power. You said the rule of law must apply. The rule of law means that if you're a former president, you can participate in jogging. You can participate to go out where you want to go without being stopped or put out of the plane. You can do those. So we have tried, you guys have started creating a monster in the presidency, not because of the President HH, no. In this presidency, we are creating monsters by thinking that, now our president, you can do anything that you want to do. There are limitations. There is a constitution that limits what you can do. And if you start to behave outside the constitution, then people must remind you. Certainly, we must remind you that if you're a ECO, there was nothing illegal. Show us that, this law is broken here. You can't use feelings
through the chair
to stop someone from traveling. Go ahead, Wakombe. Then, but Danny should also come in.
I just want to, I'm very happy to hear that Bakazila was worked in government for 28 years. Thank you for your service. But what is disappointing is that you don't even know that when you are a former president, you are not supposed to engage. If you are retired, you're not supposed to be engaging in politics.
And
Like you can't be
anytime.
holding rallies. Wayakuchechi, it's a rally. You're talking about your party and the current government. You hold rallies at your house. People come, you exercise, you go in the house, you start addressing them. That is not what the law says. When you retire, then you can't hold those things. You can't have it both ways. If you want to stay in politics, don't say you are retired. So coming from a person who has served 28 years in government, I'm a little bit disappointed because we know that a retired politician cannot go and hold a rally. In Zambia, that's the way it was. That's the reason why the pecs were taken out of Lungu's thing. There was no way you could continue getting benefits and also be an opposition party guy. So the law is clear. He wrote, first and foremost, the ECL wrote to cabinet himself to say, I'm retired.
Exactly.
And then we have a video of him saying he's back into politics. So how was he mistreated?
I'm going
Coming
to
from a
talk
guy
to
who has been in government for 28 years.
Before you come in, Wakazia, just
I
to
will
tap in on what Makombe.
on that one.
No, it's the same point. So, but just to tap in on what he's saying, because you know, according to the Constitution, that way it is law, Wakazia. It is law.
Indeed.
And what happens is, if the law is clear in black and white, it's saying you cannot engage yourself or belong to a what? Political organization or party or whatever. That's why
politics.
That's active. It's part of
It's
active politics.
He's holding rallies. Come on.
That's why Moneni. That's why when he became a former head of state, he wrote to the cabinet that I have what? Retired from active. It's mandatory. That's what you have to do. He wrote to the cabinet, and the cabinet accepted that later. That's when he started getting the benefits. But when he decided to come back, he wrote again to cabinet, I have rescinded my decision. I want to come back to what? Active politics, so that he can do his politics freely. Why do they write those things? Because if it wasn't law, if there wasn't any law, you don't have to even write to cabinet.
Let me clarify once again on the misconception that Makombe has is that it is also very disappointing that he doesn't know. When I said, that is very common knowledge that when the president announced that he is going to active politics, there are certain things that must be done. And part of what the government responded by doing, the matter was still active in court. The matter of saying, he lost his benefits. So they were challenging to say, can you really lose the end benefits? Even if probably in the past they had ruled that. Now, that is not to say that he cannot comment. If he becomes, yes, like you are saying, even when he went to active, when he went back to active politics, he must be treated as such. He must be like, he has gone back to active politics, then we are going to treat you as a politician. But being a politician does not stop you or make someone come and take you off the plane. It doesn't. It doesn't stop you from when you are.
When was he taken off the plane and why?
You don't know back home.
You want me to go back and start explaining when? He was lying. He was saying
even the sister herself. There's something.
They want me to go back and start explaining. I will send you.
You can explain.
I will send you the video. Don't worry about it. I will send the video on this platform when that happens.
So what is your argument? What is your argument? So maybe we can be on the same page.
When he goes back to active politics, he has every right to be part of that political system. He has every right to be that.
I agree with you.
Yes, and he can comment on politics. He can do that. And he must not be going to be taken out of a meeting with a priest.
Nobody told him, but Kazira, nobody told the president not to comment when he announced that he was going back to politics.
You can't go back. The SCA wale kwata meeting na ba priest. Mwatuma bakapokora bati kamfumie nyimo kaiyeni. You can't do that. It is against the law. You understand? If mwale chita and you say, oh, that is not mistreatment. It is also mistreatment to the same way when President H wanted to get to Onitsipata Airport, wanting to go on the plane, and someone says, no, you need a permit. That was stupid. It doesn't, no matter how we look at it, to behave like that towards President H, it was not right. To come and say, oh, the meeting is not right. So in my view, if you are about who was mistreated, they were both mistreated each other. And it
who
is what
was the most mistreated? Come on now. Don't play with words.
No, I'm
who
not
was most abused of the two?
They were both abused each other. They abused
who
each
was
other.
The most abused?
It is my opinion. Get it? It is my opinion that was like we are giving yours. So it's a question of you arguing that was not abused and me arguing that it was. You are giving your opinion and don't override my opinion over yours. Yours, you are just giving an opinion like mine. A free thinking like you, I am also having my free thinking. So when you say no, I say yes. Let's tell to disagree to agree. We
disagree to agree. Then the Zambian people, I think,
they will judge. The Zambian people that are listening will judge that is this disagreement to agree making sense. And even the Zambian people, not everyone is going to be unanimous in agreeing with you or in agreeing with me. We are giving our personal opinions here. So some people are going to agree with me, other people will agree with you, and it is fine. We must be able to allow that kind of conversation to take place where we don't agree and disagree, because each one can listen and deduce that if this is the right thing. If a president is speaking to a priest, you go and check him out. Or if the president is going, oh, this is okay, then people know. You see, let's learn to move on. When a person comes in, you correct the wrong things.
And I'm glad that HH never arrested Lungu.
It's not about abused or mistreated. It's not about being arrested.
No, I'm saying, I'm just adding, I'm agreeing with you. And I'm glad HH never arrested Lungu. He never spent even one day with myself.
President Lungu parliament, lay it on the floor and then remove my immunity. I'll answer for myself. He said that. Why didn't you take him to court? Because he could, if he committed the crime, he should have been treated just like anyone else. There's no way committing crime. Yes.
You know about immunity. You've been in government for 28 years.
Yes, go to parliament and remove it. What is stopping you?
So 2026, we're about to do that. This is breaking news.
I don't know about that. You were thinking about doing it.
We know about that.
So it remains undone. So
correct.
Stop talking about what you.
So don't say they should have just gone. No, there's a process.
You can't say I shouldn't say it. Why?
There's a process. You know that.
Okay.
No. Hold on. Stop telling me what I should say and that I shouldn't say. I'm not telling you what to say.
Nobody is telling anybody not what to say.
But don't say this. That's what you say.
This is the Benefits of Former President Act. Okay? Chapter 15 of the laws of Zambia.
I know it.
So I just want to clarify a point. A point that so that they know that it's coming from here. But it's in the laws of Zambia. Now, if so much people, the argument are saying that he has been abused, they took away his benefits, they took away his pension. However, we didn't do that. Cheap page, LH page, lemba. It's the Zambian people. This wasn't done in the UPND regime. This is according to the 2016 Act when it was amended. Now, if you go to section B of the same, it will tell you this. A former president shall be disqualified from pension and other benefits conferred by this act. A, if he ceases to hold office on the ground of willful violation of the Constitution or misconduct. Now, willful violation of the Constitution na misconduct. If you go deep, it will tell you, if you are getting all those pensions and then watampa kushta involve politics, then you're in violation. Then you're going to lose your pension and benefits. So it was his own doing. It wasn't the UPND government. So I want to vena Zambia. These things are free. You can just go and download. They are free so that everybody is informed. Let no people lie to you. There's no way the UPND government took away the pension, like the narrative that is being displayed. At all, the UPND government took away his pension. They did this, that. No. Cheap page constitution. Same thing. If the HH is no longer in government, if we violate this, each paper, this document will follow him. It's the same thing. So tuilave pana. Let's not misguide abantu abaleonfwa in the Zambian people.
What did I actually say which is misguiding?
So that's the thing. I think on that one we're done. Vadani has been too quiet. Vadani has been too quiet. Let's listen from Madani.
What did I say which is actually misleading?
You said
the thing
like
is,
every other PF member is saying that they took away his pension.
they took away the misleading statement is when someone is alive, you took away all his benefits. That's the language the PF are using.
Yes, deliberately.
Now that is dead, you want to give him back his benefits.
Exactly.
That's the language every UPF person is saying.
Even the so-called educated ones.
Can I explain why every PF
No,
member
let
is thinking that?
what Danny talk, and then you can come at the end.
The language we are hearing is you can't take all the benefits from somebody when he's alive, and later on when he's dead, you want to give him back the dignity and the whatever. That's the language we're hearing. Everyone saying, "Oh, they took it away. They took away. They took away." No one took the benefits. They just followed the Constitution. They just enacted what is written in the Constitution. Nobody took the benefits. Lungu willingly said, "I don't want these benefits at Kwale any Tundalama to with the what's that Mumbipiri?" I remember Mumbipiri saying, "What wali they later secretary chanta to take a fire." They were even saying that Lungu has so much money that he doesn't need the benefits. Openly, that's what PF was saying. Bowman Musambo saying it openly. That they don't need the benefits. He doesn't need the benefits. He's so loaded.
He was even singing at Nalitumpa.
So there was Mumbipiri was saying in the Lama to benefit to pay, that type of thing. So it's just the PF people, to be honest, to me, the way I look at it, they like misinforming people.
Yes.
And then they want to look good in the eyes of the public. When in actual fact,
it's a criminal enterprise.
Yes, the biggest criminal enterprise ever. By the way, just to show you, how criminal they were. Let me just give one example. I'm not going to mention names. Chandagavia will know this. One of the PF guys had, for the first time in Zambia, he had a $5 million pottery running whatever pottery operation in Makeni. Okay?
The former SG.
Automated. Everything was computerized. They were bringing technicians to come and maintain the pottery farm in Makeni from China. The moment they lost, I'm not mentioning names. This person now kafa ka blue chip muma computers ya poultry house. Ya mangana. Bringing a technician from China was $15,000-$20,000 to fly him and this. So this poultry thing is on sale as we speak today, and nobody can buy it because it was so automated that. So this is how these guys were. You have automated $10 million.
Enterprise.
1,000 kwacha.
This is where we lose the focus of conversation.
I digressed a little bit. That's
I am going to remind you. You see, if you are the worst liars the world has ever seen.
Anyway, let's go back to the.
No, then a casual worker today you own shares in the mine from the street. I'm not mentioning names.
Anyway, no. We're going to open a different can of worms.
But Dad was talking, you never stopped him.
No, but he hasn't finished. Has it finished?
He's done. He's finished.
I haven't.
No, he hasn't. He's not done. Let him get done.
When you're done, then I'll come back to speak.
Okay. So this is what I was saying, and I think this thing of telling the world that Lungu was mistreated. It's a fallacy. It's a lie.
True. They took his benefits. Anyway, so Wakazia, you can come. Oh, Badani, are you done or? Oh, Badani, are you there? I think we lost him.
Okay, you see, apano mbamo lefa tambo kula ndama politics. Imwe kumwe banelanda tu ya angels imwe. Mwayambile no bufiwa kapela makufi. You lied to the Zambian people like crazy. To the point that no reputamu street was in a street demonstrations, but under 100 kwacha, this is what you're going to buy. You came when the force would kuvepa fyabantu. Mwaba vepa, mwaba pomba cotton, and the internet is littered with words like, oh, I can gain up, I can over 10 hours, dollars I can drop. On radio stations across the country.
And the dollar did drop.
The question is that which one? What is the dollar now?
The kwacha appreciated when that indicated
terms 50 kwacha. You were giving up.
That was the figure of speech.
250 kwacha.
That was the figure of speech.
You were giving teachers. What did you tell about teachers? Go and say teacher have upgraded. You be upgraded and given the money. What is happening right now?
We had 50,000 teachers.
It is not me. You were the ones that were lying to them. A casual worker from National Breweries, I'm not mentioning names. Lelo owns shares in mind from Katondo Street, Bakuman. No, I am not organized Amakada's street. UPND. Don't poke sleeping dogs. Let sleeping dogs lie. The level of fear and manipulation is vandeta mwanelandeshi. Akachelo mulabepo bush akachelo mwabepa akasuba mwabepa ichungulo mwabepa. What happens? Mwaya mweka ushi mwawese shabalabe mwalekana balemi batimwe bakabwalala mulekana. Medication in hospitals. If mwamba nokuiba nombe mitisha mchipatala imwe. What do you want? Why do you want to manipulate things? These things are rare.
On medication, we
are losing funding from the US on drugs. They know my American embassy.
Are you sure that's the reason Zambia is losing funding?
You see, you might be the only Jew in Jerusalem. Read, go there on the internet and read. You're in Canada, right? These things are factual.
They are not factual. Stop misleading people.
What were you saying about fuel? Fuel you ended up tripling it. What were you telling people? Fertilizer.
Fuel 50 shine. What is type of fuel 50 kwacha Zambia? When did you buy fuel 50 kwacha Zambia? Bakazira. Nini samwa shitirepo fuel 50 kwacha per gallon.
Nchirelanda 50 kwacha, ndelanda 30 kwacha, marifisha fuel muzeti kwacha. 50 kwacha kuisana imwe.
Oh, mwachipunda 50.
Clear.
Mwachipunda 50 kwacha.
Ufite bwawa mabakombe mwilabe pa abantu twapapata. When you want to just tell people the truth, they will appreciate it. Stop being manipulative. You are the most that you guys that don't want to tell the president the truth. You are the worst enemies of him. When things go, whatever way to come and justify when it is wrong. When it is wrong, it is wrong.
Have you seen any good that we have done in the 4 years?
I have by not commended you, and I can still commend you if you want to hear my commendation again.
Okay. So let's move ahead. I think we've tackled this left, right, and center, and it's clear. According to former President Benefit Act, okay, Chapter 15 of the laws of Zambia. Okay, anybody can access this document. Ye bali bapoka mama benefits ye monenyo fo bale bachita abuse. No, yave na veke eva lembere nkalata ku cabinet yenye mwe bantu bakwalesa chirefwayo kuba mu retirement ndefo kuwera kuma politics. And according to everybody, it's there on the internet. Ba Mumbipiri, she even approached him. Bale fumina court bali kweta chutumira ndu bakwe nokubeba timwe ili aleta mwale mbaili ya cabinet kabiye nikaifunye niko muise mugwere fyema politics, and he did that. Tapali ababekere, nobody put a gun to his head. He did it at his own on his own self. I mean, he made that decision on his own to say, I'm coming back in politics. And then according namafunde ya chalo cha Zambia ngamwachite fyo, you lose your benefits. So te UPND government ya abasendera ama benefits. He himself made that decision to say, I will lose my benefits because I want to come back in politics. So I think let's make that clear, and let's all agree on that one.
Can you allow me to question you, Bachanda? One question.
One.
Can you allow me to ask you a question, and I will let you speak?
Ask.
The question that I have is that we take it that the law is very clear about how the president is supposed to be treated when he's when he gets back in active politics. What does the same law say in death?
Okay. About what specifically?
About when the former president dies. What does the same law say?
Your question is vague.
No,
what does it say? It says a lot.
Can I also help on that?
Yes, I would love to hear what
it
the
says
law
a lot.
says.
What do you want to know?
I want to know what the act says in case of a death of a former president who is in active politics.
A dead person is not.
Who's in active politics?
If the president, the question, let me rephrase the question. The question is this: what does the law say on a president, a former president who is in active politics at the time of his death?
Okay, so so it reverts. What happens? It reverts.
Which section of the law reverts that?
No. We want to acquire. So okay, hold on. I was just reading about it. Makombe, get in. Let me find it for him.
Correct. I think this is throwing things in the air. What specific law do you want to understand? Because if a president dies, the vice president becomes is acting president, right? And then a state funeral is arranged. So what more do you want?
What PF is asking?
No, not PF. It is me, Madam.
No, I'm asking. Okay.
Answer me. It is my question asking you.
Be specific.
The police here.
Yes.
So don't bring PF in there. It is me you are explaining to.
Yes, I'm
okay. Be specific.
Let me
the specifics are these, and I'm going to ask again. Let me repeat the question to Akombe Wonfwe as you are responding. My question was, what does this former presidency act say for a former president who dies when he's in active politics?
Can I
Oh,
answer that?
so now I was thinking you are saying a current president dies.
No. I mean,
Okay.
Yeah.
That question was asked in the South African High Court for the one reason. Dr. Kavesha said in court, and that's why probably some PF members are always asked that. That's the third time I've heard that question being asked on the platform. The Kavesha told the South African High Court that since the president died without benefits, we lift those that ban upon death, because a dead body doesn't practice politics. He's out of politics. So why should we punish the dead body for not
Is
having
there a
steps?
law, Vadani? Is there a law?
There is precedence.
There's
precedence.
And then there's an act.
There is no precedence for a
There is.
president who died in active politics. A former president who died in active politics, there's no precedence around that.
No, I'm saying former presidents. There's a
I'm
precedent.
saying
I
about
know, I
a
get
former-
Bakaunda died. No, Bakazia, let me come in. Bakaunda died. He was a former president, right?
He was not in
President
active
Chiluba.
politics.
No, let me finish. Let me build up my point.
You're not answering my question. But we are
No,
building up-
I'm coming to your question. You are saying you are saying, what does the law say when a former president dies?
That's what. Let me repeat the question. The question is,
No, I know. I get your question.
what does the law say
Mhm.
on a former president in active politics and dies? What
And
does
died.
the law say?
Ninja, I even know what he's
In
saying. You know,
politics. What does the law say?
Vakombe.
We've
Before you
never
answer-
had any. There's no law. There's
So
just
there's no law.
precedent.
Vakombe, okay,
That-
Vakombe.
you've answered.
Hold on.
There's no law. Thank you.
Okay, hold on. Ladies, so we got a lady who just joined us, about Emily. We welcome you to our show. Just introduce yourself and where you're joining us from.
Hello, my name is Emily Molenga. I'm joining from New Jersey, actually. I'm UPND USA East Coast chapter. Thank you.
Nice. Thank you very much. So, you've just come at the time that we've been dissecting the former President Act. Of course, we heard or we hear the stories every day. That are being said that the government took away former president's benefits. There, Vakazia is convinced and he now knows that no, it wasn't taken. It's the law that actually did it. And then now he's changed the story or the question.
I have not changed. I just asked
No.
a question.
You've twisted the question. So the question now is changed. It's now the tone has changed. Like if I can use what John sang was voice. The tone has changed. So the tone has changed now. You're asking a question to say, okay, since he was a former president, what does the law say about him? Or in simpler terms, if I understand what you're asking, that you're not asking, because you're not being specific.
Don't
You're not
ask
being
what I'm not
specific.
asking, please.
Can I answer it, but I think I understand it very well.
Don't ask.
He did
I
not
understand
even
what Wakazila is asking.
What he's saying that if for former president who in active politics, then he's not entitled to state funeral. That's where he's going.
Let me
Who said
disagree
that?
with him. I have a point here. Let
Who
me
said
disagree
that?
with him. Let me
Who said
disagree
that?
with you, Bakazila. Here's the law. The former president was back in politics, right? Was active in politics. We have a law that talks about a former president who dies, right? Do you agree that we
Yes.
have a law that talks about a former president who dies? Do you agree?
Yes, I agree.
Thank you.
Section-
So the former
chapter
president who is ECL, who died, but then was still active in politics. We have no law to a former president who died.
Let
Let me finish.
Simple answer.
A former president who dies, but still is in active politics.